Hello everyone, this is Dr. Clark from Center for Weight Loss Success, and going to continue on our theme here of intermittent fasting. And this time I just want to talk a quick little video on kind of choosing a method. And there are actually lots of methods out there. If you research kind of intermittent fasting, there are a number of methods, but these are kind of what I'll say the methods I would recommend trying first. Bottom line is kind of all the theoretical benefits that we talked about the last couple of times can only occur if you implement this whole technique. So talking about it is all great, but if you don't implement, it's like, okay, it's just talk. That's all it is. So kind of if you're looking to try to implement some of this is going to be a way to kind of do it. So what I would recommend is kind of potentially two different ways. One, the first is, and it's probably I think a good way to do this, is looking at just 1 day a week. Okay, doing it longer than that. Again, you want to kind of take that into account, acute stress benefits versus the potential downfalls of chronic stress. You want to kind of get those acute stress benefits though. So 1 day a week, which just means then, okay, you pick your day, and that full day, so the evening before you would, once you're done in the evening and you go to bed, so you're fasted overnight, and then it includes the whole next 24 hours. So it's really almost a 36-hour fast. But you really need to kind of make sure you push the water. So you're picking your day, whatever that is. Okay. The other way, so that's what I call a 1 day a week fast. All right. Second way that I would recommend is doing something, and it's not quite as dramatic and not quite as drastic, is what's sometimes referred to as a 5-2 diet. 5-2 means 5 days you're kind of eating normally, and then the 2 days you cut way back. It's not a true fast, okay? In the 5-2 diet, a good way to implement that is, okay, say you're eating normally, and hopefully you're eating healthily, for 5 days of the week. Then 2 days a week, you're cutting way back. And for our weight loss clients, or people that are looking to lose weight, sometimes a good way to do that is on those 2 days, so it's just 2 days out of the week, you may just use some of the kind of protein drinks, protein shakes. And if you do that, then, okay, you're kind of cutting back. So the way that's done then is, okay, 5 days out of the week, you're eating normally, and hopefully, again, it's a healthy diet. The 2 days then, you're going to cut back on calories, so using just kind of like 400 to 500 calories. And using kind of, whether you do that with food, or it'll be harder with food because the mindset's a little different. Because if you start eating food, it's hard not to continue then if you're kind of hungry at all. But using kind of protein shakes, which a lot of the protein shakes, especially ones that we have here, are just 100 calories and they're about 15 grams of protein. So if you're using then 5 of them, so 5 times 15, 75 there, is that, okay, you're getting a decent amount of protein, fairly low calories. So you're only like 400, 500 calories then. 60 to 75 grams of protein, which is still a decent amount, but you cut way back on your calories then. If you do that 2 days a week, that's almost like from a calorie perspective that you've actually, fasted completely for 1 day. Okay? So you've kind of cut the calories way back, but you're just using shakes. If you're just using shakes, and often people say, well, I can't use shakes for multiple days in a row. I just, drives me crazy. I can't do it. So this is a way, it's like, okay, every couple of days you're going to do shakes, but you actually cut back significantly. So you're cutting back on calories, but you're also doing something, you're still getting your protein in. Now with all that, because there's two different ways to do it, kind of just 1 day a week versus the 5-2 diet. The questions, just throw them down there at the bottom there. But a couple of guidelines for kind of if you're considering doing intermittent fasting for overall health. One is kind of, again, if you're going to do it, I'd say do it for a good month, okay, and just kind of figure out, is this going to work? I would recommend not just doing it one time, because very likely the first time you do it, it's going to be really hard. Okay? But a few guidelines with this, 4 specific guidelines. One is you need to make sure you're getting quality sleep. Okay? Now, sleep part of it is you're fasting during the sleep, obviously you're not eating, but you need to make sure you're getting quality sleep. You also then need to make sure you're eating in between, you're eating quality food. Basically if you're eating just, you're eating the typical American crap, processed food and not very healthy food, then it's probably not very helpful to do this outside of, okay, you may have decreased calories for overall for a week. And then you will find that intermittent fasting is going to be much easier on a very low carbohydrate diet. So if your body's used to kind of utilizing fat as its energy source and it's used to keeping carbohydrates very low, it'll make it a lot easier during that fasting time as well. And then finally, you really need to push the water. And so that you need to kind of make sure you're staying almost overhydrated. So really push the water. Intermittent fasting does not mean intermittent dehydration. It's like, no, you've got to push the water. So it does not mean dehydration. Really kind of push the water. And potentially you may, for those people that kind of, if they feel a little weak when they're fasting, is actually just adding a little salt. So maybe a cup of bouillon, which basically has next to no calories. But you get a little bit of extra salt in there, which we can benefit when we're not eating as much. So, kind of a few guidelines then: get quality sleep, quality food. I'd stick with the low carbohydrate diet, kind of relatively higher fat content diet, again, not high calorie, and then kind of push the water, kind of really push the water. Next time we're going to talk a little bit about fasting and exercise. Is there any benefit to that at all? Questions, comments, post them below. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk again soon. Take care, everyone. Have a good day.